Hi, I'm Ilya Marchenko.
I'm Janis Kudla.
I'm Evgeny Donskoy.
I'm Henry Laaksonen.
I'm Peter Toretko, and you're listening to the Game to Love podcast.
I don't know if JG's lagging or if it's me lagging. I'm here. Thanks for everybody who's been waiting. Obviously, we've been having some technical issues. I'm obviously moving house, and now I'm in an empty room, just having to stand to do the podcast, which is fine. And JG's at home trying to battle with his internet cable by the looks of it, as always. So, yeah, I mean, obviously, we've just had some crazy news. We've had the men's draw, which has come out, and the women's draw for the French Open. So this is a fantastic. I don't know if you guys have been following it, but I'd love to take it from the top just to see. Well, let us know in the comments which one of these matchups are you most looking forward to. I see Sumner's back in the comments there, and we've got the big match, one that stood off the page for me straight up. Stan Wawrinka is taking on Andy Murray, and well, what more can we say about this? I couldn't have picked maybe a worse matchup for Andy Murray in this first matchup, but it's going to be an epic match. We've got like a French Open finalist in Andy Murray, obviously, and a French Open champion in Stan Wawrinka. So that's going to be pretty incredible to see these two go at it. And I just hope that Murray has, are we going to see the Murray of old really coming to the forefront? So pretty exciting stuff. And I know, obviously, the one thing that we were speaking about in the last podcast, whose side of the draw is Dominic Thiem going to be in? And we now know Dominic Thiem is going to be in Rafael Nadal's side of the draw. So, well, let us know what you think about that in the comments, because obviously now we've got Medvedev, he's on Novak Djokovic's side, and Dominic Thiem is down there with Rafael Nadal. So we could have some interesting semi-final matchups there. Yeah, I was relying on JG to be providing the draw as I'm doing this from my mobile phone. But I was sort of trying to take some notes earlier. I'm trying to have a look through some of the matchups which I was looking forward to. Like just as it was coming through, I was taking a few notes, and before the seeds were even released, there were some really epic matchups in there. We had Guido Pella and Salvatore Caruso, which are two amazing players on clay as well. And you would, well, for me personally, I would expect Caruso to perhaps even take out Pella in this, in this matchup, despite the difference in their standings. Like Caruso, as we know, is such an amazing clay court player, and he's been playing so well recently. So that one could be an interesting one, or interesting matchup. Another one that came up, Battle of the Youngsters. We've got Mayotte from France and Davidovich Fokina. Now, this is one it's jumped off the page before the seeds are out. Loved that. JG, have you got any connection?
Yeah, can you hear me? I didn't want to interrupt, mate. You was in a bit of rhythm. I've switched computers. Yeah, sorry about that, Ben. I left you to it a little bit. I know you're in enough problems as it is, moving house and everything, but it was just always going to happen. The day you having internet problems, mine was going to just go through the roof. I think we've had quite a bad storm here as well, which doesn't help things. But yeah, let's get into it. Just thank you guys for joining us. I see we've got 30 people here to discuss the big draw. I know me and Ben, we was both watching it. We enjoyed all the dramatic music on the YouTube live, what they was doing. And it's really interesting to see who the main guys have got. For me, my initial reaction is that Dominic Thiem's been shafted a bit, not going to lie. He's got a tough side. Like his route to the final seems like the hardest, personally. But yeah, we're going to get into that. I'm not sure what you've gone through already, Ben. But if I get the draw up, maybe we could share a bit.
I'll give you a quick overview, just telling the guys quickly, or guys and girls, that Obviously, the big news was Team is now in Nadal's side of the draw, which is the one thing we were speaking about in the last one, and the big matchup of the first round, Stan Wawrinka, Andy Murray, which we've been treated here. I was just looking down the list of all of these fixtures, and we're in for some epic matchups. So I have to say, I can't wait for this tournament to start now.
Yeah.
Just,
well, I don't know if it's very good, mate. I feel sorry. Do you not feel sorry for Andy Murray a little bit? It's a bit disappointing that he's been faced up against Stan Wawrinka again. He's had enough battles in his career, and then to get Stan Wawrinka straight off the bat in Roland-Garros, come on.
Yeah, but
when your luck's out, your luck's out, isn't it?
Yeah, but if you're going to win it, you got to beat the best. So he's got to get past Stan, and they're very, very big rivals from the past. And Stan, obviously, a better clay court player, but Murray has had the final at the French Open himself, so it's going to be a very interesting matchup. And you never know, Murray maybe might favour the slower courts. You don't know, because might be better for him, give him more time to get around the court, that type of thing. You don't know. It might turn into the great clay court player in Latin.
I don't know. I think Wawrinka, obviously, he's played in the Challengers recently. I just think can't see him losing it. I'll be completely honest with you there, Ben. I don't know if you want to go through some of the routes. Like, I've got Djokovic's potential routes up now.
I hope you're wrong. Sorry, I hope you're wrong.
I think you're delayed a little bit, Ben.
Whack up,
I think you're about 15 seconds delayed on what I'm saying.
Am I delaying now?
Yeah, I don't know if you want to quickly leave and join back again.
Apologies. Yeah,
no worries. Cool. But yeah, while we do that, let's just go through it. So Djokovic's potential Roland-Garros draw. So first round, he's got Weimar. Tough one, but you'd fancy him there. Second round, I've got Delian Berankis. I've got a third round tie with Herbert Hukas or Sangren. Fourth round, Khachanov or Garin. And that's where it starts getting a bit tricky. I feel like them first 3 rounds, Novak Djokovic, the form he's in, I feel like he'll more or less breeze through him. Maybe a little problem with Berankis. I don't know. We've seen with Berankis, he played really well against him in Cincinnati. That could be a bit of a banana skin there. And then quarterfinal, Agut or Berrettini with a semi-final against Medvedev, Tsitsipas, and then final, obviously, Nadal or Team. So looking at it there, you'd fancy Djokovic to. For me, you'd fancy him quarterfinal without really many questions asked. I don't see any of them really troubling him. Obviously, Agut could be a bit of a tricky one when he gets to the fourth round. Quarterfinal, sorry. But before that, he's more or less relatively comfortable.
I'm back again, mate.
Yeah, I can hear myself, Ben, on your screen. I don't know if you want to turn off the YouTube.
No, yeah, I just had it playing there just to hear what you were saying whilst I was off.
No worries. Bit weird. That's cool. And then I just went through Djokovic's potential draw. I don't know if you caught any of that. But I was just saying the quarterfinal is the big one, really, against Agut Berrettini. That's where it gets really tricky. Yeah. Up until that, he should breeze it, right?
I would think so. I don't really see anyone causing him many problems on that side of the draw, really. All fairness, I don't see many people troubling him up until maybe the semis or something. And that's my brutal honesty, really, for Novak Djokovic. Looks so good right now.
Well, Marco agrees with me. He reckons the quarterfinals could be tough for him. Obviously, playing against Batista Agut. We know he's a bit of a bogey player for Djokovic on clay courts as well. I don't know. I think that could be a tough one. That's not going to be a 3-set match, in my opinion. If it was to happen, obviously anything's possible. We're ruling out a lot of guys here. And if you want to look at Nadal's now, this is Nadal's potential draw. So first round, he's obviously playing Gerasimov. Second round, McDonald or a qualifier. Third round, I've got Nishikori or Evans. Fourth round, Isner, Fognini. Quarterfinal of Zverev, Goffin. Semi-final, Dominic Thiem. And then obviously a final with Djokovic, Medvedev. So the big news there, Nadal cannot avoid Dominic Thiem until he won't be playing him in the final. It'll have to be a semi-final match.
I quite like the thought that Fognini comes back to form and then maybe gets into that match against Nadal, because that would be a tasty one.
Yeah, well, obviously they've had a lot of good matches in the past. I just think, mate, he's not playing that exciting right now. He's had a lot of injuries, and I don't think he's going to be troubling too many people, really. It'd be nice to see if he surprises us. We know he's capable of doing it.
More than capable.
Certainly capable. But based off that, what do you make of Nadal's draw on the whole? I think with him, you could probably say the biggest threat would probably be a Fognini in the fourth round. But like I said, it's an injury-stricken Fognini. It's not the same guy we've known for many years. So I'd fancy him to get to the quarterfinals. And that will be maybe a match against Zverev, potentially, I'd think. And that's what could maybe be his bogey. Obviously, we see...
Zverev,
Yeah, one of Nadal's last losses was against Zverev in... I think that was in the O2, if I'm not mistaken.
Quite possible, yeah. I think you might be right there.
Yeah, so based off that, I think we never know. And obviously Zverev now, he just reached a final of a Grand Slam. Is he going to be really up for this? But something we did speak about on the last podcast was his serve. On the clay, it's going to be suppressed massively. It's not going to be the same Alex Zverev, is it? And
this is
what do you reckon about that?
That's why I'm surprised by Sumner's comment there, saying Rafa versus Isner would be an epic. I don't know if it would be that much for an epic.
I'm not sure if that's that epic, to be honest. I think Rafa will just rip him to shreds.
Yeah, I think so as well. But you never know with these big servers, but it slows it down a lot on clay. So that's why you don't see too many of them doing as well in these clay court tournaments. Well, me personally, I think he has a lot tougher side of the draw to Novak Djokovic. What was Tsitsipas's route through looking like? Because that's one part. Who is he going to be potentially facing in like a quarterfinal or something like that?
I don't have his exact route. I'll have to get it up on the draw. Do you want to do that now? I'll have a look.
Okay.
Sure.
I'm quite interested.
Can you see my screen right now or not?
Not yet.
Maybe I need to just add it. I'm just trying to get this up so it doesn't look too small. So many potential things. I think it's going to be difficult for me to pull it up right now, Ben.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if you want to go through. I don't have it to hand, basically. I didn't prepare it.
Some sort.
Anyway, before we do that, let's just go for...
That's no worries. Sorry, I'm trying to do a hotspotting my computer as well.
Yeah, we were so desperate to get a podcast out for you guys, but we're in a bit of an awkward situation with everything. We'll have to go back to the Tsitsipas's one.
For the guys.
I think you're delayed again, Ben.
Okay, I'll come back.
Yeah, sorry about that. He's having a bit of a mare, like myself. But if you're just looking at teams now, I've got teams draw here. He's got a first round match against Marin Cilic. Second round, Opelka. Third round, this is why people are saying it's so tricky. Obviously, Cilic has won multiple Grand Slams. He's got a good record at Roland-Garros. Certainly not going to be easy. Obviously, Opelka, young player, really good player as well. I think he's in the 20s in the rankings. And then you've got Casper Ruud right in the third round. And that is going to be, well, that's super difficult for Dominic Thiem. Fourth round, playing against either Wawrinka or Felix. Quarterfinal, Monfils Schwartzman. Semi-final, Nadal Zverev. And if he gets that far, he's then going to have to probably play a final against Djokovic or Medvedev. And I know some of you guys are not really fancying Medvedev too much. Don't really fancy his game on clay, but he's still a quality player. You can't really judge him based on his Hamburg form because that was pretty terrible. But aside from that, he's a top player and he's not someone you can just write off, I feel. Like if his game's firing and he gets a consistent run of games in, playing well, he could trouble anyone for sure. But looking at that, the main one really is just going to be playing Casper Ruud in the third round, Wawrinka, then a Schwartzman. We've seen how well Schwartzman's been playing as well. So for me, Dominic Thiem, it's not looking great for him based off the draw. I think he's been mugged off slightly, really, to say the least. Like it's certainly not going to come easy for him to get back-to-back Grand Slams. But if anyone can do it, Dominic Thiem can, because we've seen now he's playing some of the best tennis. he's had in his career. Obviously,
Again.
confidence is going to be sky high. Here he is. He might just keep coming in and out, I think.
I know. I'm apologise to everybody who's watching. I'm just going to keep nipping in, nipping back out again. Hopefully, it lasts longer before I get delayed this time. But yeah, continue. Sorry.
No, that's fine. I was just going through team's potential route. I don't know if you want to just, because we're having a bit of difficulties with the internet. I don't know if you want to just maybe just go through. This probably could be a good podcast to do our dark horse and contender. Have you done that already?
I'll let you go for it, and then I can. And
then you'll go straight after.
Yeah, for sure. Go for it.
Okay, well, based off what I've seen with the draw, I was really fancying maybe a Dominic team to do really well in this tournament. But since seeing the draw, I'm not so confident with that. And I'm going to have to go with Rafael Nadal as my main pick to win the tournament. You're not surprised. I just think he can do it. I do like the fact that he, I'll get his up just so I can reference it. I do like the look of his draw. I do like it. The fact that the first 2 rounds, Jerusalem off McDonald, yeah, you'd fancy him there. Nishikori is not playing particularly good. Evans isn't very good on clay as a 3rd round. So hopefully he can reserve as much energy as possible, winning them ones in as less sets as possible. Fognini or Isner, I think Isner will probably knock Fognini out, I'll be honest. So for me, it would be Isner there. And I don't see him troubling too much. But someone did say here, Isner took Rafa to 5 sets in 2011 in the 1st round. So I think that was a better John Isner, though. The John Isner we see right now, I'm not sure if he's as mobile as that. So for me, I'm not as impressed with that. And then a quarterfinal of Zverev-Goffin. Yeah, I'd fancy him against Zverev on clay. I think it's a different animal, Zverev on hard, but on clay, I really fancy him. And then it'll just be the semi-final of a potential Dominic team. Obviously, this is subject to change. Anything can happen. I just like the look of that for Rafael Nadal. And I really fancy him to be getting to the final. And in Roland-Garros, we know how good he is. He's like the king of the clay courts out there. So it's going to be very difficult to dethrone him even. And on the subject to that, I'll give my dark horse pick. And that is going to be Casper Ruud. The reason for, I keep saying how much I love this guy, but I don't ever put him out there that much. And I think you never know. We've seen how well he played against Novak Djokovic in Rome. Granted, he didn't win that first set, but I think he would have learned a lot from that match, playing against someone on the top of his game right now. And that's only going to, I feel like, fill him with confidence. I don't think he would have been too disappointed after that match. And the sky's the limit for him, for sure. I know there's a lot of love for El Chapo in the comments. He's another one you could certainly mention, the fact that his form's been incredible. He's been reaching semi-finals, quarterfinals of all the last major tournaments. So he's in a really good bout of form. So someone you can't really ignore. But based off that, yeah, they're my picks. I'm going to go with Casper Ruud as my dark horse and Rafael Nadal as my main pick, both from the Rafa Academy. Well, Rafa Nadal wasn't, but Casper Ruud is. That would be weird. And yeah, Michael, to answer your question, yeah, I'm quite a big Rafa fan. I'm not one of them big fans who it sort of blurs their vision on just I'm not one of the Rafa fans who hate on Djokovic, basically, or Federer, or
never.
Any other top players. I don't like all of that. Oh, come on, Ben. I'm not like that. I'm a very open fan. But that's what I'm saying. I just like the fact that I personally just love his game. I love clay court tennis a lot more than other surfaces. And if you're looking on clay, he is the best. So that's probably my reason why. It doesn't mean I don't like other players. I'm very open. I just love a good game of tennis, to be honest.
Yeah, well, some good selections there. Pretty solid picks. You've got them from ATP winner in the beginning of the year, Casper Ruud on clay, and you've got obviously multiple times French Open champion and king of clay, Rafael Nadal, as your selection.
Yeah, and before you go too further, I've thought about this as well. And what Ryan said is a good point. So Casper Ruud would play team in the 3rd round. But I think he could beat Dominic Thiem in the 3rd round. I think the deeper Thiem goes on, it's going to be difficult for him to sort of be beaten. I think if he gets past the 3rd round, he'll be there in the semis, in my opinion. But 3rd round, I don't know, early on, he could be a bit unexpected, not really warmed up to his full capacity. And I think he could, at that moment, that's when he could be my most vulnerable. Obviously, Casper Ruud played a lot more tennis on clay courts. So that's my reasoning.
Yeah, well, it's good reasoning. I'm sort of torn in my dark horse selections, really. I have three. Well, there's one person we keep bringing up, but they're not even in the draw yet. I hope they come into the draw, which is Aslan Karatsev. Want to see how he gets on. If he just continues that ridiculous form. If he gets through, I'd love to have him as a dark horse. But
mate, that's too much for a dark horse. That would be crazy.
Yeah, he's not.
You can have someone a bit more prestigious than him.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm sort of torn between people who have impressed me a lot recently, but I don't really want them. My favourite for the tournament, I'll go with first, which is Djokovic. I think he's unbeaten. I mean, he's on the warpath. He defaulted. Now he just needs to get this next slam, and he's got the easier side of the draw for me. But there's going to be a couple of banana skins, maybe. I think I quite like Garin because Garin's so good, but I'm not sure if he's my dark horse. And I did really like the way Chapo played, even though he lost to Schwartzman. I think we could see bigger things from him, and his draw looks quite favourable. If he was to he might face Tsitsipas, I think, maybe at some point. But we know what Tsitsipas has been a bit up. So
yeah,
I'm sort of going towards that. I think I'm going to go with El Chapo as my dark horse for this one, just because.
Fair enough. Mate, that was your same for the US Open, was it not?
Well, no.
No, I think you're delayed again, Ben. It's happening again.
The first one wasn't, was it? I didn't have Djokovic.
Sorry about that. It's quite funny though. Yeah. As the Lamb says, final of Nadal team. That's not possible now. They're on the same side of the draw, so potentially we could see a Nadal Djokovic final. But a lot of us thought that would happen in Rome, and it wasn't to be. There's obviously a lot of other players out there. You got El Chapo. We're getting a lot of love for him. We've got Schwartzman. You got Garin. You got Casper Ruud. As people have making me aware now that he beat Fognini today in Hamburg. So that's what I'm saying. There's a lot of exciting players there. It's not really a certainty that we're going to see a final of Nadal Djokovic. But yeah, over to you, Ben.
Yeah, sorry. Back again. I was just watching you there in a slight delay. I have to keep jumping back in and out with this poxy 4G connection. I apologise for this. I will be back. But don't worry, the BT guy's coming round. He's going to fit the stuff tomorrow in the new place. I'm still got more boxes to move tonight and tomorrow. But yeah, we should be back on course on the next podcast. This is just, I couldn't do. If I had to do this every time, I'd probably go insane. Yeah, so Djokovic, El Chapo. I think that was my pick for Australian Open. I think.
I remember that combination before. I think you've used that combo once before.
Yeah, I mean, well, and Chapo's disappointed us, but he's been looking really good in that Masters tournament. So he filled me with confidence in that, and I was hoping he can just get better. And with the draw, we've done it once again. Neither of us even mentioned Schwartzman. You're getting semis or something now.
Yeah. No, I did mention him briefly. I did mention him briefly. I did mention him before you went.
He just beat Nadal. I don't think anybody gave him enough credit for this win.
All right. I've also got, I don't know if you want to do this. We're not going to talk about the women's today because for a start, we're having a few internet problems and it's not the most smooth. So we're doing maybe another podcast for that either tomorrow or the next day whenever Ben's settled into his new home.
Yeah,
and in the meantime, what we will do is I've got some round ones to watch, like some really exciting first round matchups. And I just wanted to see what you guys think and who do you think is going to come out on top. So I'll go over it straight from the bat. Obviously, I'm going to start with Batista Agut. He's playing Gasquet. And that is a really tough first match.
Yeah, love that first match. I had that written down on my list as well. I think that I expect him to win that, but it's not an easy first match, is it?
No. In France as well, remember?
One that I thought was quite an interesting one that came up. Schwartzman versus Manovich first round. That's really interesting because Schwartzman obviously been playing well, but Manovich obviously won. Was it a chat? No, it was his first ATP event, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So both been playing really well on the clay, and now Manovich would have had a rest. Obviously, he lost pretty early on in the next tournament he played. So that could be a real tough match for Schwartzman in the first round.
Yeah, I think a lot of the other players will be hoping Schwartzman gets eliminated there early on, so they don't have to face him. But even still, Kecmanovic is a really good young player. You don't want to be playing him. I've got another one here. Medvedev-Fucsovic is the first round match.
Yeah, love that one, mate. I love that. Yeah, Martin. Come on, Martin. You can do it.
And that's one I don't think that's not a 3-set match. That could be a 5-set opener, to be honest.
So we did to Dimitrov at the US Open.
Yeah, exactly. So that's a very good one. We've got some in the comments as well. Ryan said Sinner Goffin. Really good match.
Yeah.
And I fancy Sinner to win that one.
Yeah, he could well do it. He obviously beat Tsitsipas, didn't he? But Tsitsipas probably not as.
Yeah, but have you not been a bit disappointed with Goffin since post-COVID? Since he's come back, he's not really. I don't know. He's not really impressed that much. He's winning. He's been losing a lot of winnable games. I feel. I'm not really putting much of a fight up. No.
But another one I wanted to mention, which was one that's probably gone under the radar of a lot of people, but somebody who's obviously been playing really well recently, and this was somebody I was considering as a dark horse, but I just don't know if he's got the mettle yet, is Dusan Lajovic, but he's got a tough match. It was against Gianluca Mega in the first round, and that one really jumped off the page for me.
Yeah.
I think that they're two amazing clay quarters.
Mate, we know how good Mega is as well. In the Challengers in 2019, he was absolutely ripping it up. I don't know, don't quote me on this. I think he won more Challenger titles than any other player, right?
He beat Dominic Thiem, didn't he? Don't forget.
Yeah.
And he won. And which ATP event was it? It was early this year.
Yeah.
So did he win or was he in the final? I can't remember.
I don't think he won. I think he got to a final, maybe.
But he still beat Dominic Thiem, regardless, on clay, which is no mean feat.
So I agree. I think he's a top player. Maybe he won it. I'm not sure. Another one I've got here is Shapovalov, Gil Simon.
Yes, but you never know which Gil Simon's going to turn up.
Yeah, I think Shapo, that's not really too difficult for him. I think he'll comfortably win it. But like you say, Gil Simon's capable of the spectacular. We saw what he did to Medvedev at the beginning of the year. I think it was almost like a double bagel or something. One of the most bizarre things I've ever seen. We'll talk about the women's tomorrow. We'll do a more in-depth one, hopefully with better internet and stuff. But a really interesting point, what Michael did bring up, was Azarenka. I think she's got the... Don't quote me on this, but she could play... both the Williams in this. She could play Venus in the second round, I believe, and then Serena in the fourth, which would be super exciting to see these. It's always the same names on the women's tour, though, isn't it? You're always seeing these the same faces just refreshed year in, year out. Everyone's excited to see when they'll be playing each other. Obviously, you've got Perunkova in the draw as well. That's going to be super exciting.
Not either, is she?
Yeah, Naomi Osaka's out of it, but we'll do a more in-depth one tomorrow on that. I don't think we can do it today.
Barty's not in. And for me personally, I think Halep's just going to clean up anyway.
Yeah, no, I would have to agree with you. We're getting. I don't know. What do you guys think? Who's your guys' dark horse and favorite on the men's side? And while you're doing that, I'll just go through some of the other results. The big one, really, for me, obviously, is Wawrinka Murray. That's the one what people are a bit disappointed with. I've seen a lot of disappointment on Twitter. Because it's just a bit unfair, isn't it? Come on, man. I know it's the luck of the draw, as you say. But I just feel a bit unfortunate, really, for Andy Murray. In the case of he's just coming back. You'd really fancy him to have a good run in this. And he's played first round Stan Wawrinka. It's just it's a tough one to face, for sure. And another person I feel sorry for in this whole thing is obviously Dominic Thiem. His draw does look ridiculously hard. To start with Marin Cilic as well. That's going to be really tricky. Hopefully he comes through because I find him super exciting to watch. But Jagger in the comments, he fancies Zverev to win. I know you're a big Zverev fan. And Ryan says Shapo and Dimitrov could have a rematch in the third round. That's exciting. I didn't know that either. I think if that does happen, I think we'll see probably the same result though. I think Shapo will do him again. Michael's given his favourite as Novak, but he wants Nadal to win, and his dark horse is Shapo, so he agrees with Ben. Pat says Rafa will cross the field just like every other year. Mate, you can't put it past him. He always does it. But the difference with this year is he's not had the practice. Is that going to have a real big impact on Rafael Nadal? Usually he's played so many tournaments before this one. He's already going through the motions, looking like the man to beat. Well, looks unstoppable usually before he comes to Roland-Garros. And he doesn't have that. He's obviously got that one Rome Masters under his belt, and he didn't do very well in it, to be honest. It was a very disappointing loss against Schwartzman. Didn't really put up much of a fight and was completely outplayed. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens in this one. I think I'm probably going to wrap it up there. Sorry it wasn't the best podcast. We're having a few issues with different internet stuff, and it was difficult to sort of get the draw to show on the screen and go through it like we usually do. We'll come back maybe tomorrow or the next day and do one with the women, a bit more extensive. We'll just thank you guys for joining us. And I guess we'll see you on the next one.